all-new Rolls-Royce Phantom 8, no less. And conveniently, I find myself amongst the resplendent Swiss Alps just as we've had a light smattering of snow. Now, very significant moment indeed. New car launches obviously are significant moments in themselves, but to give you a little bit of context as to why this carries extra significance, the last Rolls-Royce Phantom, the Phantom VII, had a lifespan of 14 years. So needless to say, it's not every day that a new Phantom comes along, but we're here and I have been graced with this fine opportunity to share the launch with you. So, let's start with the fundamentals, talking about the car as a platform. For the first time ever in a Phantom, Rolls-Royce have opted for a twin turbocharged engine. It is a V12, but it's the first time that they've decided to double the induction. As a result, the car is pushing out no less than 563 brake horsepower. And while that is no small figure, it is actually the torque figures which are baffling. At 900 Newton meters of torque, I am convinced it's going to be damaging the very road surface that you're driving along. I mean, that is some incredible twisting effort. Now, while these numbers are fabulous to read, to experience is a whole different ball game. The unique feature of the Phantom is that predominantly you're not going to be grabbing this thing by the scruff of its neck and driving it 10/10. We'll get onto its agility later, but that torque is available from just above idle, and just above idle has got more torque than the previous Phantom 7 in its entirety. So it doesn't so much drive off as there is this sort of otherworldly, almost magnetic pull that draws it along the road from standstill. Speaking of pull, the way that this thing departs, it is like a majestic yacht. Its signature feature for me is not so much the power or its aesthetics, it is the way this thing drives gracefully. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys have experienced noise-cancelling headphones. I liken stepping into the Phantom 8 like putting on a set of sublime, comfy noise-cancelling headphones. These beautiful soft closed doors, they suck in and they almost seal you in your own personal vacuum. I can't tell you how much it just isolates and shuts out the world around you. It is a magnificent feeling. To give it some more context, Rolls-Royce have claimed that this is the quietest car in the world. To help you get your mind around how they've done that, the weight of the sound deadening materials alone is 130 kilograms. That's unbelievable. That's huge. And you can really sense it. The real standout feature for me is when this car is going at slower speeds, so particularly town speeds, between 20, 30, 40 miles an hour. I am convinced that this car is levitating. The lack of friction and sounds that you get from the road is otherworldly. In fact, it really does at first take some adapting to. It's like nothing else I've ever experienced. I mentioned that we would talk about the driving dynamics of this car. Well, thanks to the new addition of rear wheel steering, this car, I think, is around about 5.7 meters long. So when I referred to it earlier as a road yacht, it really wasn't an exaggeration. However, with the rear wheel steering, it has virtually shrunk the wheelbase of this car to no end. I can't believe how it doesn't feel as big as it looks. It really is an agile car, particularly for its size and its weight. Now, earlier on I was mentioning 130 kilograms for sound deadening alone. Well, with all of the luxury that is smattered in this car, we've got about 17 cows in here. These seats alone, I mean, they're packed full of massage functions. There's screens in the back, everything is electronic. The weight of the car is coming in at 2.5 tons. I mean, you know, who cares? Weight saving was not Rolls-Royce's target. Its target was to continue making what is widely considered to be the best car in the world. And to achieve that, you're packing in luxuries and amenities that you simply don't find in any other car. However, Despite the fact that their weight saving was not a target at all, the whole structure, the new chassis, is pretty much entirely aluminium, has made this car 30% stiffer. So overall, the torsional rigidity of this car, together with the rear wheel steering, has made it a really agile, well-balanced car. Now, we are on some very tight, flowing, twisty alpine roads, and you can throw this thing into a corner and it disguises its mass beautifully. So speaking of tech, this has a system on it that Rolls-Royce refer to as the flag bearer, and which has cameras at the front of the car that literally scans the road ahead, proactively adapts the suspension to absorb the bump before you hit it. And as a result, I mentioned earlier, this car feels like it is levitating. You know, in the past, I have referred to Rolls-Royces when I've driven the Dawn and even the Black Badge, like surfing on a cloud. This has taken comfort to a whole new level. And I say levitating because there is zero feeling of friction. Certainly at these speeds, I don't know how they've done it, but it is a wonder. Back to tech, of course, this thing is to be driven in all conditions, and at night time it is going to be utilizing the industry best laser headlights. Again, I feel the need to put this kind of tech into context. What that means is that at night time it projects light at 600 meters down the road. God help anyone who's oncoming, because you're going to blast them into oblivion. Now then, the Phantom isn't only for driving, it is also to be driven in. Arguably, the rear of the car is as interesting, if not more important, than the driver's seat itself. Heading to the rear, first of all, the thing that you get presented with is these two massive screens. The infotainment system in the back is amazing, and you have independent control for both passengers, but if you really want the luxury legroom, the passenger is always intended to sit behind the passenger seat, so you can push it forward and get all that extra legroom. However, if you do find yourself as a passenger in the front, there is a world first feature that I think is about as opulent and eccentric as I've ever seen in a car before. Behold in the dash a housing, a display case, what Rolls-Royce has pitched as a unit which is available for clients to put in bespoke works of art. I'm not talking finger paintings here, I'm talking people are going to be commissioning like Damien Hirst to put installations into their car. Rolls-Royce themselves have partnered up with artists to create bespoke installations which you can choose from factory. This unit here is created in a hermetically sealed environment, which basically means it is the cleanest and dust-free environment that you'll ever find, and then your artwork is installed, and then it is sealed behind this seamless glass here, this glass fascia that you wouldn't even believe exists. You reach out to touch it, and before you reach the art, your fingers hit this force field of glass. But the idea is to take the personalization and customization of customers' cars to an entirely stratospherically different level. I just can't wait to see what people create, what they dream up, and what they can facilitate and stick in the dashboard of a car. What I would best describe encapsulates what this car is dynamic opulence. It is a perfect example of the finest environment in which to drive, but they've still been able to maximize the ability and the driving capability of a car of this size. This really does sit in a class of its own. Anyway guys, I do find myself on a fabulous alpine road in a brand new Phantom, so without wasting time, I'm gonna let you guys go and speak to you soon. As always guys, thanks for watching, see you next time. Ciao.